always getting countered in all these games, unless Cloud9 saves their last pick for support, which they actually might do, or they can just do it now because Nami has been shown.
They want it, absolutely. Going to be able to take that for themselves, especially if High grabs Yasuo. They don't have, or not High Yasuo, he has that. I was going to say that the engage. Already on Orianna, getting ahead of myself. So High's probably going to be picking up now an AD carry and what they're looking for. Possibly top lane.
Can do whatever they want. They don't need to pick the top laner
you already see it.
Until it's fully decided. There's still a chance that Bjergsen would play Ryze. It's 90% Dyrus' pick, though.
Not so much communication. Looks like High is actually just the one talking on this one.
As per usual.
As per usual, indeed. Which, in fact, you talk about TSM's comms at the end of that reel. They were quite calm themselves in a chaotic fight, and that's not usually the case. A lot of voices talking there, but they've seemed to pan things out. Sneaky again onto Kog'Maw. When it's not Trist, it's Kog'Maw. It was the same thing against Curse, and he's going to do it again. High grabs up Braum for elimination. Just blocking those waves.
Makes the most sense. Also, the Kog'Maw was so dominating for Sneaky last game.
Where you get free farm, you get your breakpoint of a Triforce so early, and they utilize that damage very well.
Yeah, Kog'Maw was able to outrange pretty much everyone. Kog'Maw does not outrange Xerath, though. And that could be a pretty nice pick for TSM. I like that. He's had some dominating performances on Xerath.
Did the same
thing. And they have Amazing's, the hope of Amazing as an initiator, or just Ryze running in really fast. So a little bit more initiation this time for TSM. Still not a huge amount.
Right, you can still keep saying kind of the LMQ composition that's coming out from these guys. But on the flip side, that was Bjergsen that was raining down damage onto Xiao's Orianna. So you might try to do the same thing to High and get him cut down in health really early in that mid lane.
Dr. Mundo right here to go against Dyrus' Ryze as well.
Very nice.
You know that's a very swingy matchup. If Mundo can actually get ahead of the Ryze, it could mean trouble. And I need to see this game whether or not Cloud9 continues with their solo AD carry strategy. Kog'Maw against Ryze. Kog'Maw can beat up on Ryze in 1v1 lanes. And it'll again be on Balls and Lemon Nation to form a new duo of sorts.
Mundo Braum's a little bit easier to farm with. I mean, you can throw cleavers at least. You're throwing saplings and hoping they'll hit the right ones on the other time. As the teams take to the Rift, remember to vote for who you think which team will win and run away with the series here, possibly. Tweet hashtag TSM or hashtag Cloud9, or C9 win, I should say, to @LOL Esports. We'll be updating those throughout the game. Also, maybe some tweets if we find them relative to the game.
Yeah, true. Occasionally
we see some of the, like, Scara tweets or Crepo tweets, like, nope, yep.
Crepo tweeted last game that the, I think he was calling it the Bramaukai lane.
The
was somewhat successful in the bottom lane.
The Malbro.
It's pretty popular now, especially with Cloud9, just trying to lane that bruiser with a support.
It's interesting. Is there anything that you would want to do to that or to try to stop that? I mean, you could match it, but then do you really put your AD carries against each other? That'd be such a back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sacrifice. It puts so much emphasis on Sneaky. It's basically, if they pick a top laner that can punish an AD carry, then you're not allowed to do that strategy. But just all the top laners people are playing right now do get punished 1v1 by AD.
This is going to formulate into ADTF and AD Kennen. They're coming back, man. They're coming back. Probably not. We can always hope, or at least I can. But we are going to hop in here. It's going to be game 4. 2 now for Cloud9, 1 for Team SoloMid, and they are back against the ropes here. Cloud9 could be taking the title of North American champions once again with a victory. Long game to go, Jat, and we are just getting underway here for game 4.
Yeah, and last game probably took a pretty big mental toll on TSM, even though they are a team built for endurance. Losing such a low kill game 39 minutes in definitely hurts.
There we go. Good laughs. It's a good way to start it. We know everybody's feeling all right. Cleaver dodging.
Just wants this vision.
Ooh. Said, yeah, you got the business, I'll give you some too. So there it is, Bjergsen starting again, trying to rain down and hit up high in the mid lane. We've been seeing that Command Protect was leveled by most of the Oriannas here to not take damage early. Lustboy finding himself caught for a second, but High and the rest cannot pursue without the vision they need. Just wanted
That's
that
a pretty
red
good
ward.
slow on to high.
Oh, they connect the Sonic Wave. Turtle jumps over the wall, takes Rocket Jump first. Everybody's in range to keep going, and that's all the summoners down. But what else can be used? Amazing Sonic Wave going to be coming up. Oh, he missed it. It's in the brush. It's going to be the shot. First blood going over to Amazing. This is what happened for Cloud9, but it's all in favor of TSM this time.
Wow, so 325 gold there into the pockets of Amazing. That'll be some early items for him if he so chooses. Cloud9 getting a little bit cheeky trying to get the Rast down to Lustboy, ends up costing them first blood, and in the worst of ways as well. High needs to be the one ahead in these games, and the fact that he started the 1 could be disastrous.
Starts 0-1.
Plus this Lee Sin. What's going to happen?
And he's completely down summoners in that mid lane. Amazing comes around the corner. They're not able to take that away from the Nunu. Very hard to do. Meteor still able to make it out, but expect return trips to that no flash, no heal High in mid lane.
Yeah, it actually ends up that Meteos may be able to get a 3-buff start. It depends on how quickly they run towards that. Lustboy's going to go there, and TSM seems very committed to not letting this happen. They're willing to support this with 5 people. This should push Meteos off.
Ooh, I love this. We're getting out a great 4th game here. 2:30 in. Everybody's still being level 1. High coming in at level 2, so we can actually provide quite a bit of damage or protection for the team.
Really nice flash there by Darius to keep himself safe. TSM still trying to make this collapse happen because they have the number advantage.
Bjergsen's got only range. He didn't take the stun, so it's everything they can hit now. High goes down after he just comes back up. He only has Force yes to his name and still no summoners. This is not over yet. Level 1 bloody fights all over the place.
How crazy can this one get right now? All the while, Sneaky has been farming in that top lane, but these kills are very beneficial for TSM. Bjergsen gets going on Xerath. There's very little to stop him.
Very, very little. He is awesome at hitting those ultimates, and he puts himself in a position to do so. See if he can get a roam on that Xerath quite soon as well. If he will just continue to batter down on High, do you leave that lane and kind of say, after I get up in CS, I mean, this is it, and I roam, or do you just keep taking him down?
No, Sneaky's got to keep farming, for one.
So I'm at High.
Oh, High cannot leave that lane, and neither can Bjergsen for that matter. Okay. Bjergsen has enough range with his ultimate.
He just keeps
that he can support jungle invades, but he just needs to continue to focus on this mid lane, especially this early on into the game.
All right, see if he can keep that pressure on. Now we get to see this friendly, or frenemy, as you would say, mid lane that plays against each other so much. Can High come back from such a deficit against Bjergsen after being the one to kind of teach him a little bit more as he came over to the NA and about aggression?
And finally a switch up in strategy from TSM as well, taking the early game lead and actually forcing Sneaky into a 2v1, which will potentially in turn force Lemon up to helping Sneaky and give TSM the 1v2 lane that Cloud9 is actually trying to force if we end up seeing that swap back and forth.
Yeah, they can't quickly organize Lemonation out of the bottom lane. Doesn't want to lose too much experience and come up here and just die to a duo, so they're keeping it. And Meteos is actually going to hold off as well. More roam coming in from Lustboy. Let's see if they try to clear. He doesn't have a sweeper, so he's just laying him down. Oh, pink. Go figure.
Huh. Well,
great play. That's one thing that TSM and a lot of other players have said that he brought to the table, Lustboy, is vision control for TSM in the early game.
And I really wonder how Cloud9 is going to try and recover from that early game. They definitely overreached with that. If the enemy team is willing to invade 5 people at 3 minutes into your blue buff, you should just give it up. Meteos could have easily went back and still maintained double buffs as Nunu, but instead decided to stick around, thinking that the Nunu presence was enough.
You're going to get 2 nice deep wards in here and make sure they have coverage over everything. Keep this snowball rolling downhill. And they know they're at least in the jungle, so Cloud9 can stay pretty safe throughout this. And you see it's going to have to be Meteos as well, making sure that safety is there. He heads down to the bottom to provide protection as well. Good sweep, though.
Yeah, so actually, Lustboy, after getting some vision control in the top lane, decides to abandon and go up back to Wild Turtle and leave Dyrus with Sneaky. Sneaky's going to continue farming that lane really well. He'll just be vulnerable to some ganks. Balls comes back before he's full on health, actually, and is going to continue to eat some harass.
Definitely a good game for Meteos to be on Nunu. Able to build that quill coat, get out the vision early, buys wards for himself as well. And Lustboy back down to the bottom lane. So we get somewhat of the matchups we've been seeing throughout this series, at least. Let's see how Bjergsen's doing in the mid. Level 5 for High as well, 31 to 29. So High has been able to stay quite safe here. Medios just says, hey, how's it going?
Trying to give High some free farm time. Maybe even get a little bit of harass down onto Bjergsen. Maybe they're just trying to make Amazing show where he is at. It's a little dangerous knowing the gold lead that Amazing has if they're actually going to fight. 2 longswords to just a quill coat isn't exactly very fair.
High putting the levels in queue this game, making sure he can dodge out, move the ball enough to be farming. That's skill shot, crazy lane. Gotta be boots coming out fast for both of them.
You'd think so. High is a pretty good dodger.
Yeah, that he is. Good pressure. This is what we've been seeing with those two, I should say, melees as they are. Mundo trying to throw out cleavers, but also in the top lane getting a little bit of love.
Is vulnerable here.
Uh-oh. Mirrored on both sides. Dyrus knows this. He's like, man, deja vu every time.
They don't have the minions, though. I mean, they're going to be going for Dragon. I wonder how much support they have. And yeah, if he can just get out of there. Really nice move there by Dyrus to give his team a Dragon.
He gets back. Living Artillery says he went all the way back to base, but like I said, not going to matter. They're just going to try to grab buffs off of this. Bjergsen may be hurt a little bit, but with the Dragon, they'll be able to get his Chalice.
Oh, they have messed up this pull really severely, but they still managed to take it. It took much more health than it needed to.
So first Dragon going down in the game. It's only going to be about 1,000 gold lead, just over actually. 1,000 gold lead here. Almost the finished up fighting for Amazing. He comes out with the 2 long swords, but can't yet finish his jungle item. So good start here for Team SoloMid. When they've gotten that start, they've been able to turn the game around and hold it quite well. But last time they were ferocious and continuously chomping at the bit to be at Cloud9. A very much more relaxed game here, so I wonder if they can hold this lead.
Yeah, TSM does do very well with leads, and more so, Cloud9 does so much better with leads. I mean, if Cloud9 doesn't actually lose leads when they have early game leads. So if TSM is to win games, they generally have to jump out early on, and they've been able to do so here. Cloud9 made substantial early game mistakes. TSM capitalized very, very well. The early BF sword on Wild Turtle should hopefully keep him ahead of Kog'Maw. If they can withstand Sneaky, if they can withstand Sneaky in team fights, it would lead to a TSM victory, because that was actually the main thing that led to Cloud9's victory last game. Not as much High Zed, but more so Sneaky's Kog'Maw. He was creating so many little plays throughout the game that he was just making the windows with which High could exploit. A little bit different game, obviously, this time. Cloud9 was a vastly different team composition, but still that Kog'Maw.
So Amazing, 1-0-1. Bjergsen as well. The two that love to get going early, as we have a little back and forth here in the bottom lane. You can see that Phage putting out damage with the Bio Arcane Barrage. Turtles, the BF sword still doesn't equal that damage right away, even with Lust Boys, extra damage added on. So they're starting to find that the matched up lanes starting in favor a bit of Cloud9. Medios on the top side after taking the blue gets his red. These guys are very buff oriented this game with that Nudu. Well played.
Yeah, definitely some control being taken back by Cloud9. The last 3 buffs were taken by them. They got the blue and the Meteos, this time controlled both of them. And as you said, the CS numbers have been favoring Cloud9, both Mundo as well as Sneaky. High, the only member who is behind. But we know how that goes when High is far behind on Cloud9. Usually not very well.
Right, absolutely. A few kind of antsy engages. We've seen it previously on the Zed. We saw going after the Alistar, but it seems like Cloud9 with their last win has kind of wicked away those cobwebs and made sure that there's nothing else that they can make a mistake on. So far 2-0 as TSM has made their advantages in this one. Crazy level 1 fights, especially for a best of 5 series. This
nice job.
Wild Turtle putting on the shell and he goes hard. Amazing's right on the backside. A great flash out, but it's not gonna be enough. The Tempest hits with the Ignite being on, and it is gonna be enough damage for Sneaky to go down. Beautifully played.
Wild Turtle with the awesome shot back onto Sneaky. First off, he jumped through his Living Artillery and then just went full on aggression. Nothing Sneaky could do in that situation. Too quick with Wild Turtle.
Oh, a little too close for comfort there, Bjergsen. You're getting in the personal bubble.
Oh no.
Wow, that is incredibly a misplay by Bjergsen, standing right in front of the turret. Wait a minute. That's not gonna be enough. He's got enough snowballs.
So Bjergsen with a rare mistake in the mid lane, but I can't wait to see that kill in the bottom lane once again.
That was great.
Check out the Wild Turtle
Turtle's
mechanics.
like, amazing, you can do this, but watch.
Yeah, and there's a big mid lane push coming from Cloud9 as well, trying to keep this a little bit equal. So much of Cloud9 has been outmatched this game, but they're really just trying to survive.
Survive indeed. Once TSM gets their teeth sunk in, they just continue to bite. Still going towards, what is this? BF into Infinity Edge. Actually, we get to see it again.
Yeah,
Here
watch this. Now,
the slow.
So Wild Turtle did something that is really hard to notice at first glance. It wasn't a flash buster shot. It was a buster shot flash. So he started his R cast time, flashed in front, and basically like Tristana insect someone like Elise Sin would.
Heck yeah.
So it made it so Sneaky could not reactively flash away the buster shot. If he had flashed behind and then busted, Sneaky would have probably been able to get away, but not that time.
Yeah,
because the Wild Turtle mechanics.
And they actually nicely get the flash after that as well. Sneaky trying to escape on it. So everything going in their favor. They have summoners up in the bottom lane, just the exhaust coming in for elimination. So they'll be trying to defy the attack. 98-74 still in that lane. We did see that Sneaky got his Triforce spike quite early last game. May be hindered just a little bit as he spent quite a bit of money just now. Coming back with just the Sheen. Minute on the Dragon, that Sheen's definitely going to help in the overall fight, so good on both of the AD carries to keep it going. 0-0-3 for Turtle, Sneaky 0-1-0, who we were saying was a big factor in that win last game. See if he can still come back to that position from a 0-1-0.
Yeah, it's not the ideal place for him to be, that's for sure. Sneaky's such a consistent player. But now, you know, all of Cloud9 is on their back foot. And it's on TSM to close this one out. They have the ability to. We know they've done this before.
Not too much forward vision. You can see how hesitant they are to go past this. Buster shot instantly used. Being very calm.
They know the shield is down.
For at least amazing to maybe get in range, and then they would get the Xerath ultimate. We had Bjergsen on slight rotation to the bottom. Very tricky, Dyrus. Be careful. He has not found good results in this side of the river. He does have to flash. Throws down the ultimate for the extra movement speed, and he gets himself to safety.
Yeah, but that's a three-man rotation by Cloud9 when Dragon is also up right now. They are very much in avoidance mode of TSM right now. And instead of just taking what Cloud9 wanted to give TSM, TSM takes more than Cloud9 is willing to give by taking that mid-turret and then looking down for the Dragon.
Even though Dyrus wasted ult and flasher, that was very big. Cloud9 was trying to repeat the same thing they did last time. They would have gotten some good control off of that. And now TSM running amok. They're going to go ahead and steal some buffs now, deplete the jungle of Cloud9, and not even take that. So leave them with something else to think about. It's the Dragon dance about to happen.
Trying to starve Cloud9 as much as possible, for sure. Sneaky, however, level 9, so he's got 5 points in that Bio-Arcane Barrage. Yet, he is so vulnerable to the Xerath. That's one of the brilliant things about the Xerath pick into the Kog'Maw. Making him dance around just the super long-range skill shots and will not be able to maximize his DPS.
So if they can keep that blue away from him like they just did, it's not going to make Sneaky that much trouble from the back line as he was last time. TSM's going to hunker down, and they are going to lock down this Dragon. Very nicely done. Already 3,000 in the gold lead, and they are going to pop that up to about 4.2. Very nicely done. 2 of 2 Dragons in the game. Cloud9 tries to answer back on the top side. Going to get that found quite fast with Blood Boil, so they don't waste too much time.
Yeah, just the first turret of the game, though, for Cloud9. They're losing the objective game as far as neutral objectives and turret objectives here. And they're hoping that Balls will be able to carry them out of this. However, against a Trist, Ryze, and Xerath, it's a lot of damage to throw down right back onto the Mundo. It'll be very difficult for him to get to a point of invulnerability. TSM is looking very strong here.
Definitely vision all over. 4 sight stones up already. Pinks and greens still in the inventories. As I say, got the light bright going on towards the top side of the map right now. 16 minutes in. Every team has a pretty good security system. Right now we're going to get Turtle grabbing up the red buff, possibly trying to get something going for the team here as they're going to start huddling down towards the mid lane, maybe get a push. Not much to grab. Dragon's down. Baron's not really an option just yet. But Sneaky did hit that Triforce spike, so see if he starts to create more as he did last time.
TSM's trying to freeze the lanes a little bit too, give Dyrus time to farm while his teleport is up, knowing the Dragon is not an objective on the map. at the moment. Continually trying to counter jungle the Nunu, which is a bit of a role reversal right there. TSM's done a very good job of just taking a different sector of the jungle than Meteos has been and not getting taken out by anything sneaky.
Ooh, that was almost quite sneaky. High takes a good amount of damage there. He's forced to get out. Amazing does not feel scared to be in that side of the jungle. He stays. The rest of the team and Lustboy looking for this bottom turret. TSM, wherever they are, they also have more to take. Great job by Wild Turtle to bring up this turret. And again, Bjergsen on the outside, ready to rain in some damage.
Slick little dive. Cloud9 is now forced into reactive type of play because TSM is making the first move in all these situations. Got to be careful not to take too much poke because Xerath would be able to come in for the finishers. Also like the distortion boots early from Bjergsen.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Increasing the move speed of his Ghost to 40% could actually be very beneficial if he's going to run down people late in fights, because there's a good chance of something like that happening here. As well as the cooldown reduction as well. He just needs to... He's trying to get rid of the weakness of Xerath a little bit, because Xerath is very weak when people can close in on him, so he's just augmenting his ability to escape more by having his summoner spells up more frequently, and then being a little bit more powerful.
Turtle on the front side, you can see him spacing nicely so he can jump over the wall to Bjergsen if needed, and then Bjergsen would pretty much be able to help get those kills with Lustboy. What control here. 4-man squads, and Cloud9 is completely staying away from them.
TSM is so much stronger, and walking into a fed Xerath is a little bit suicidal, so it's really just Cloud9 trying to take as much farm as possible without giving up that back-breaking fight, hoping the TSM will make a mistake somewhere along the lines and that Cloud9 can capitalize.
Well, they don't have terrible wave clear, but once TSM gets stronger, they are going to be able to take down these turrets without worry of those dissonance and void oozes coming out of Sneaky. They back off for now. Not too much pressure to create it on the mid turret with that clear being so efficient from Cloud9 at this point. They also have to be careful that shockwave. A good shockwave Glacial Fissure can start to turn this around. Cloud9 has an immense amount of area of effect damage if they can get into the fight.
Yeah, that's a big thing. If they can get the right shockwave down, it could very well just cut through TSM's whole plan right there. But honestly, TSM's accumulating such a huge advantage. Cloud9 is not really pulling the trigger in any of these fights because of that early game disadvantage. By the time they would want to pull the trigger, it may be too late.
This is crazy, Jad. The best of fives definitely bring out a different type of team. TSM showing again that they cannot be knocked down mentally, and they come back again and again on a game 4.
I mean, TSM, they're good at running League of Legends marathons. Ever since Locodoku came in, a lot of the players wake up early, they go running together. Then they go and play 10 hours of scrims, and then they go have 4 hours of solo queue practice. Like, these guys have built up so much endurance from their practice schedule. Playing 4 or 5 hours in high-pressure situations is something they can do and continue to play at a high level.
Even adding on to that, you got people like Wild Turtle. How many Challenger accounts? Just people that consistently play. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the reason they say Froggen is so good, just because he never stops playing.
Yeah, and he loves the game so much.
Makes it even better. Never have to work a day in your life if you do something you love, Jab.
It's one of the big things the Cloud9 players have, though. They genuinely love playing the game. They all formed together. If we think back to the early Season 3, Cloud9 had 4 players in the top 10 of Challenger on their roster, on their starting roster, and they are very similar to TSM in that way. So it's a recipe for success.
Seems like the players are done letting us talk. They want to engage again.
Perhaps. I mean, the Dragon's up in 33 seconds. If Cloud9 keeps giving these small advantages to TSM, eventually there will not be a fight to come back in the game, so maybe they're choosing this point to try and force something, but it is difficult. They do not have vision control set up, and TSM has so much power with the poke of Xerath.
This is the thing I like, is Bjergsen pretty much disappears when these objective fights happen. He'll be on the side somewhere. There he is with the rest of the team. Cloud9's trying to find him.
A decent amount of damage
onto him to start the game. Ball's feeling way more confident to walk himself into this one. Nice focus from the explosive shot, so he can't just lickety-split, use his ultimate to get back up to HP. Wow, they are taking a lot of damage. Sneaky able to rain in from the outside there. High with the blue buff, able to add and relieve. Oh, wow, the shockwave goes out, but is it going to be enough? A huge knockback there. Stand by.
What a block by Lemon Nation.
super good, and they are going to continue this one. Stand Behind Me used by Lemon Nation. Keeps High alive, but he's out of the fight.
Single-handedly saving High's life there. He jumps in front of him, and then Wild Turtle targets the Braum because they're basically right on top of each other. And now they're trying to zone off this Dragon. Maybe they pull for a fight. This is tense.
They are fighting this one out High right now, and he could be taken down by Dyrus instantly. He is going to eventually get him down. And on the other side of the fight, Cloud9's trying to adapt to this one. They're looking at low health bars, but Amazing is trying to be the front line. Great job by Dyrus to initiate. Takes the blue as well.
Yeah, High goes down, but Cloud9 secures the Dragon. So overall in gold, they're still doing all right. High had already died multiple times this game, so it's not the end of the world for them.
That's true.
It's going to be about getting back in position to stop TSM from taking secondary objectives after the fact.
Very nicely done with the top lane prepped here. Going to go around to the red buff and top turret. Actually, they may not have time to be able to grab this. The wave gets cleared out, and they are going to have it back after just denying the buff. Still very good for them to grab. And C9 using this time. You see Meteos hauling ass towards Baron to start getting vision down.
I would say an impressive show of strength here by Cloud9 to be able to withstand this. So Shockwave onto Dyrus, and then check this out. The Buster shot went right into Lemon Nation to knock him back instead of into High. The sole reason he was able to stay alive. The ultimate otherwise would have killed him.
Yep, I like the choices. Summoner Hero for High, Barrier coming in for Bjergsen. To each his own, but keeping each other alive. 4-1, 22.5 into this game. We start getting a little bit of split push tango between Dyrus and Balls here in the bottom lane. As the wards, as we were saying, completely set out by Meteos. Now, he starts to grab himself some magic resistance, turns into the cowl. He'll be quite safe from a lot of this Bjergsen outside damage. Dyrus as well. Let's see what they can continue to do. Wild Turtle takes the top lane by himself. Looks like he'll have protection at least right below him with all the wards that Lustboy is trying to set up. Again, Lustboy keeping the vision up for Team SoloMid with the rest of the team. Doing a great job. Talisman of Ascension is something he loves building, keeping them in and out of the fights. It's so good with the speed up of the Nami spell passives.
And they need it to create the right catches, or even just to run away as well, trying to combo the disengage of the tidal wave with the move speed.
Yeah, in or out. Definitely
important.
Out if they're the AoE in.
Right here, though, it's about TSM taking control of deeper and deeper territory, and whether or not they can find a catch. That's a catch.
They know what's going down. It's going to be Lemon Nation first. Slowly, the health bars drain down, but that's the AoE that Amazing and the rest of the team really can't get caught in. Dyrus's teleport came in just after the absolute zero. He tries to throw down on Sneaky. One, and the dodges come out. Beautiful job by the Boy Puppy going back and forth. Amazing gets himself a little too deep, thinking Kadma wouldn't be able to get the damage back for the retribution kill. Now onto Balls, but he is going to be fine. The ultimate's already been used. He's healthy.
Sneaky was absolutely incredible that fight, dodging all three of the shots from Bjergsen's ultimate, and then still having the presence of mind to turn around and finish off Amazing. Despite getting caught there, and despite Dyrus teleporting in before Balls, Cloud9 still wins the fight, 2-1.
Finding it in the jungle, I don't think TSM's going to want that again. Let's watch this.
Yeah, so they kick back a pretty tanky guy in Lemon Nation right there. He absorbs a lot of the damage because of his shield, gets to face the mountain and a shield from Ori, and ends up just running away after that one. But think about how early Dyrus got into that fight. He does 75% of Sneaky's health bar, and then flashes the first, dips, dodge, and dives after that one. And then Balls pushes the rest of him back after that fight because he's a very tanky Mundo. This game is still winnable for Cloud9.
That's what you're talking about, that guy in the top lane who could become a very big front line, and he's doing just that. As long as Wild Turtle can't cut him down, they don't have the Morello Namicon coming out in this build. We've seen it a lot this weekend for Mundos, but it's up to Turtle to shut down on those grievous wounds. More than that, just to go through this game, though. Cutlass coming up for Sneaky, or rather, Blade of the Rune King, I should say. And a 2-item finish from Turtle here, so both teams trying to get an advantage of their spikes. TSM got a little too antsy there, trying to do that, though.
Sneaky relative to the game is not as farmed as he was last match.
Yeah, correct.
He was about 1,000 gold ahead of everyone else in the game. Here, he is 4th place in gold, actually. He has less gold than Wild Turtle, Bjergsen, and Dyrus. So not the same presence, which just means he has to play that much better to stay alive. As we saw with those fancy jukes, Blade of the Rune King would be a huge thing for him in trying to slice through in these team fights. And honestly, High is having another one of these bad games. It's kind of like Cloud9 needing that shock from the shockwave to actually turn these fights. He's landed good shockwaves, but he has been a consistent focus of TSM. Take out the shock collar and
Absolutely.
It's hard to shock off from the grave.
1 minute on the clock for Dragon to come out. TSM getting exactly what they want. Side lanes could be pushing a little bit more. Looks like they were going to have Dyrus do that possibly, but he's floating, trying to ward, and then they do decide to have him go down towards the bottom lane. Just deciding what they want. They're going to start spreading it quite thin here just to get the vision they need so they can start making moves.
And this has been the battle for TSM for the last 6 minutes or so, just trying to break Cloud9. Ever since Cloud9 actually was able to take that dragon, they're slowly clawing their way back. They're still in a pretty heavy deficit, but if they can keep taking dragons and not losing turrets, they would be able to hold on. That's why it's of utmost importance that either TSM gets a catch here to kill more turrets, or that they can control this dragon that is up in 30 seconds. I feel like with the Baron threat right now, the dragon secure will be easier for them, but they do have to respect this Cloud9 team.
Absolutely. Sneaky coming up next few levels, at least 4 for that max range ultimate. Even Bjergsen won't be safe on the outside of these fights. Good take from Wild Turtle to deny. Take a bit of extra damage on the way out from Rocket Jump, but Lust Boy always within range of Wild Turtle. They keep sure that that's a team that they always have together. Live for Dragon, and that's where they're going to be heading. Team SoloMid down to the bottom. This is good. They actually have something to fight over. That's not Cloud9's base.
This time Bjergsen landed a lot of poke instead of getting poked, but Amazing is still not very low on that dragon. We could very well see that fight. Block the tidal wave. Let's see if they re-engage.
Ball's out, so that's going to zone them quite a lot. Once the ball is out, it kind of denies it a little bit. Everybody knows where it is. You see High backing up again. Going to get it clear on the mid wave, and then he'll come in just a little bit on the fight for another entry, possibly get the shockwave that he wants. Dragon.
He stole it.
Dragon getting stolen by Meteos. That's the shockwave that he wanted. Lustboy on the backside. That all starting down. Bjergsen is just raining in damage, and he does find Sneaky. The boy puppy gets dropped. What a fight coming from Team SoloMid as they limp away. 4 for nothing.
That poke from TSM eventually just poked Cloud9 to death. The ultimate that time for Bjergsen just wrecked Cloud9 as they were trying to disengage, and Turtle and Amazing could hop in for the finish. Even if they're low, there's so many of them alive. This Baron is theirs.
What a great job by Team SoloMid, Chad. I thought it was looking a little shaky when they could not break the front of the base, but they just bought themselves time and they got the fight. They wanted a dragon. Let's see it again.
Yeah, I mean, getting the Dragon Steel was nice, and then Cloud9 is desperately actually just trying to use disengage spells here. The Shockwave was for the disengage, but they couldn't stop Dyrus, so he's putting a bunch of AoE down, and then the Xerath ultimates. This time, Sneaky could not dodge all of them. Amazing and Turtle were in there getting resets. As much damage as they put on a Turtle, it wasn't quite enough. And that may be Cloud9 breaking.
Fast fingers from Dyrus that time paid off. He hit the ultimate to just squeeze out of the range of that shockwave and get his movement speed. Those Rune Prisons really started to lock down the fight. Good plays on him and really coming back around this game. 3-0 and 5 for him.
This would be quite a road for TSM if they could win the next 2 games in this series. Coming from the 3rd seed in the playoffs, not getting a bye, having to take out Dignitas in 4 games, LMQ in 5, and then they would have to win this one in 5 as well. But they're looking quite good in this game for 7,000 gold separating them and Cloud9. And Cloud9 was trying to play a little hide and go seek, but they got spotted in the bottom lane, meaning this mid turret is temporarily exposed.
TSM knows, though, without a lot of vision behind them. I believe they walked through one ward that was cleared, but they are forced to back off. Playing it safe, 6,000 gold lead right now. Only 4-2 in turrets. It seems like the map should be destroyed right now, but the vision game has kind of staved everybody off from getting too much of what they want. See what they can do with this Baron. Good wait out here by Cloud9. They're not going to want to do too much, but like you said, they went for the bottom lane until they were found out. Trying to take Baron off 1 by 1 is going to be a very hard task.
And this Cloud9 team isn't as much about getting small catches or assassinations. It's actually very much a bruisery, tanky teamfight team. Everyone very big on this team, Mundo, Nunu, Braum. So when they fall behind like this, it is much more difficult for them to maneuver a comeback.
Still trying to shut them down. Amazing with the forward wards along with Lustboy. This is a death squad in itself right here. They already have their protection of a Wild Turtle in the top lane. He's been having fun on the turret all alone by himself. He picks up a little bit more, 260 to 240, 1-1 and 7.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, actually
He's
this could
caught.
be huge. What a lockdown from across the map. You can't even get to safety. Everybody's got eyes on you. TSM starting to head down mid lane.
Now that is some solo lane synergy if I've ever seen it. Dyrus just running straight up the gut for Sneaky, comboed with Bjergsen's ultimate, and now they have a strong push in the mid lane. Kana's gonna try and trade something back, but this inhibitor is done for.
That showed immense power. You couldn't even be peeled off by Meteos on that one, and Nunu couldn't even make it happen. So Sneaky goes down, free hit for the inhibitor here, and Bjergsen and the team get to use Baron quite efficiently. They'll probably be back in time to stop this if they even want to.
Yeah, Ball's just trying to get as much farm as possible while he's down here in the bottom lane, but it may be just far too little, a little too late, because as tanky as he can be, if Sneaky is unable to stay alive in any of these fights, the damage will not be there for Cloud9.
Wild Turtle coming out on the outside here. Actually, Last Whisper as a third item for him. Wanting to crush down, seeing the Thornmail already on Balls, armor already being built up on a few others as well. Meteos there. Interesting. Dyrus and Balls in the bottom lane. They're going at it. It's not looking too good for him, but there's the active on the ultimate. Will he be able to take him down? Machine Gun Rise coming out big here. A few more, but Dyrus won't be able to put out the DPS as Balls is able to head for home on this one. He's not going to give up.
He's got backup again.
Scrying Orb coming in. There's one, and he hits the last one over the shoulder of Dyrus. He just ducked a little bit, let it go by.
Dyrus keeps throwing him up, and Bjergsen keeps stuffing him home. These are alley-oops right there for Dyrus into Bjergsen, keeping him still. It's so easy for him to finish off these kills. The tankiest member of the team just shut down by the 2 AP carries right there of TSM.
What an awesome composition coming to light. We really haven't seen it utilized that all year long. That's great. Beautiful plays here. Dyrus now 4-0-6. TSM definitely getting the talks they need from Reginald and Loco Doco between these games. And it looks like from right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting to game 5, but it is still not over. 11-3. Cloud9 is going to be trying to come back very hard here. The split push strategy of Balls not working so well with the amount of control TSM has. And they're already finding Meteos while he's trying to take Swolves. Yeah,
they're trying to force off all these Banshees Vels. They have an exterior turret still to clear, so it will still be a little while until they close this one out. Cloud9 not completely out of the woods. They have everyone alive right now. If they land a fantastic shockwave, they still have a chance. But boy, does this TSM team look good.
Looking good indeed, chat. They're one more turret away from just hitting the base even harder.
Trouble.
The shockwave indeed misses. That's also low mana for high on the backside, and TSM is going to push up feeling a lot safer.
Without that shockwave threat, what's to stop TSM from diving in this turret? There will not be nearly that much to punish them. They can enter through the mid lane if they so choose to, but they can just push down this.
That wasn't exactly a whole bunch of high missing that, but TSM just being ready, knowing that Cloud9 needs to bite on these attacks and get something out of them, but TSM is using that to their advantage. Slowly and slowly dwindling out ultimates and possibly summoner spells here if they can get good attacks on it. They will not draw summoners, but they are getting Cloud9 to run some chaos in their own base.
Dyrus a little bit low on mana, which would dissuade them from pushing farther potentially, but the turret did get taken to about half health there. Because the Dragon is up, because the Baron is soon, TSM is going to take this one slow.
Not wanting to make any mistakes coming into this one. TSM wants that game 5, and they want it to be a good one. The momentum is going to be huge for them. And Dragon will also be theirs coming into 35 minutes. 3 of 5 Dragons there. The first Baron goes to TSM as we saw. That was just about 7 minutes ago. 30 seconds left. We're going to have that next Baron.
And I really wonder what Cloud9 could even hope to do about this Baron. Look at the map. There's one ward outside of Cloud9's base right now. One single ward. For a team with 2 tight zones, they just haven't been able to get out because they've been so heavily punished by TSM. They're getting a few wards up in their own jungle right now, but they have to retreat shortly just because of the threat of TSM.
Still looking at builds here. A lot of item spikes coming out still on both sides. It's quite early in this game. AD carries still getting a lot of what they need. Cutlass coming out for Wild Turtle. Infinity Edge for Sneaky, which would be something he would have easily had last game. We talked about his clip. Very different coming into this one on more Kog'Maw play.
Yeah, Dyrus, Bjergsen, and Wild Turtle are all well over 2,000 gold ahead of Sneaky. And Video's just trying to get vision control, having to run away.
The flash, nobody's really going to be able to help this engage. Sneaky is on the side there. Voidooz doesn't really hit the team. And this is the disengage that Team SoloMid has. The Talisman Darson already used. Video's throwing down the ultimate, but he only gets one. A lot is being used for only the few members of Team SoloMid here. Oh, the artillery coming in from Bjergsen on the backside. Could this finalize him? No! It's going to be wild.
This could be a penalty. One more.
He's going to be looking for the penta, but Balls won't give it to him. The quadra kill instantly coming up. Team SoloMid looking to end the game out here. 40 seconds across the board. Balls is going to have a hell of a time defending this one.
Well, they don't have the minions, but they do have 5 members of TSM. They're looking to end this one 37 minutes in.
That's a pretty big Dyrus. Frozen heart on top of the health and everything of the Seraph's Embrace. The shield to be used if they need it as well. They're going to lock down the first Nexus turret. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a Game 5 in the LCS playoff finals. Team SoloMid takes Game 4 over Cloud9.
How many 5-game series are going to go the distance here in the North American playoffs? Definitely the last one, because TSM just took down Cloud9 for the 2nd time ever in the playoffs.
They have to be feeling really good right now. Dyrus had a great game, holding the emotion this time, not letting it get the best of him, which worked yesterday, but can also get you a little ahead of yourself. Just keeps it calm. Cloud9 definitely has a few things to talk about now, but both teams have. It's been a back and forth. That's why we're going to a Game 5.
And Cloud9 challenged for the first time ever, really, in the playoffs. They had never dropped a game before this. And in a small sense, it's very good for North America that the top teams are challenging each other at this level. They will not be lackadaisical heading into Worlds, and this first seed will feel very much earned. The stress of these best-of-5s going back and forth, it's all very good learning experiences for these guys.